Hi guys, I wanted to do a tour showing you the progression of the mulching that we've been doing and the progression of the plants. It's now May 1st and we have some foxgloves that are popping up. There's one right there. The daffodils have just started to go past. And I have a new flower in bloom. It's a type of perennial alyssum called basket of gold. There's another foxglove. These are some daylilies with some daffodils in front. And then over here, this is called a Silky Dogwood or red twig dogwood. It was a tiny bare root last spring, so it's gotten quite large. And it's supposed to have little white flowers. It may not bloom this year, maybe next year, because it is new. This over here is a perennial that's really pretty. It's called Maltese Cross. That blooms around the end of May. And then in this garden bed I have a lot of poppies. There's a big lavender with some poppies. I planted a couple irises in this garden bed. This is going to be a white Asiatic or Oriental lily, Oriental lily. And we actually got some double daffodils. I planted about 60 daffodil bulbs and some of them ended up being doubles. These are really pretty. There's one of the irises. The second iris is right there. And they're supposed to be reblooming irises, so I'm excited to see those. I have some yarrow in this garden bed. And there's more lavender. Now this plant here is called a Crepe Myrtle, and it blooms in late August and September, and it's the last thing to leaf out in the spring. So it looks like it's dead, but it's actually going to leaf out in a couple weeks. So there's, like I said, a lot of lilacs in here. This is a lilac that will be blooming really soon. There's some peonies here. The spiky plants are all liatris. There's the new peony that I planted this spring. That's a Sarah Bernhardt. So it does look really nice with the new mulch. There's another lavender and some more of my peonies. There's another daffodil. And last summer I planted some rose campion, so that's going to be blooming this year for the first time. So as you can see, there's more rose campion, and there's also some coneflower in here. And this tree right here is a dogwood, and it's really nice in the spring when it leaves out. It starts out with these pinkish red flowers, and then the leaves will come out after that. And then down here is a perennial phlox that just started blooming. And then over here I have a lot of black-eyed Susans. And I planted some stargazer lilies over here. So the mulch makes everything kind of pop, and it looks really nice. As you can see, we still have a big mulch pile. This garden bed needs to be mulched, and the tulips and the hyacinths are going past now. But the Sweet William is starting to get bigger and bigger. and that'll be blooming probably in 2 weeks. It'll start blooming. Here is one of my 3 lilac shrubs. I'll show this when it's in full bloom. The center branches died a couple years ago, so I had to cut those out, but as you can see, I have a couple new suckers coming out of the bottom, so I may let those develop into thicker branches. And then over here, the Perennial Phlox is in full bloom. And there's some peonies back there, and I need to mulch. I'm in the process of mulching this area. The yellow plant is called a Perennial Alyssum basket of gold. It has spread a little bit over the years, and you don't want to cut it back because it will kill off the plant. So you just leave it alone. You don't have to do any maintenance to it. Today I'm going to be planting some of my vegetables into containers that I leave on the deck for a couple weeks, and then I transplant the seedlings into my vegetable garden. So today I'm planting a couple of different zucchinis. This one is called Milano Black Zucchini, and then I have Cash Flow Zucchini. I'm going to compare them. Last year I had some trouble with my zucchini. I had powdery mildew and the squash bug. 2 years ago I had some success with some squash, and what I did then was I wrapped the vines in aluminum foil to prevent the squash borer from getting in. So I'll show you guys that method. It really worked well 2 years ago, and last year I just got lazy and didn't do it, and my squash suffered. So this year I will be putting aluminum foil on the base of the stems to prevent the squash bug borer from getting in. I'm also growing a couple different types of cucumber. I'm growing swing cucumber. I grew those last year. And then I'm also growing the Ukrainian slicing cucumber, which I love. So I'm going to plant those in containers right now. My project for this morning is weeding out the vegetable garden. I have a pretty small vegetable garden, and it has this netting around it to prevent the deer from getting in. I have to kind of fix some of the netting, dig up these weeds. These over here are strawberries. They got nibbled on over the winter by either deer or possibly another animal. We do have a groundhog that we're trying to trap humanely and move it off the property, but we haven't been successful yet. So I think the groundhog has also been nibbling a little bit on the peas. I planted these peas a month ago, and they're just starting to come up now. I'll show you a better look. Here is what the peas look like. So we had some really cold temperatures over the last month, so the peas are still pretty small, and I am going to be staking them. So I need to put up some stakes. Last year I used like plastic netting, kind of like Hortonova netting, to help the peas in terms of a trellis. But it was really a mess to take it down. So this year I'm just going to put poles to stake it, and I'm just going to use twine to help with trellising. And lastly, I am going to plant these seeds hopefully in the next week. I will be planting some of these seeds in the next week or two. I'm going to plant these Hungarian blue poppies, the sun-rich lime sunflower, borage, which is an herb that really attracts a lot of bees. I'm going to put that in the vegetable garden. California poppy, I had a lot of it at one point, and it started dying out on me, so I'm going to be adding more to the little side garden. And the Armenian basket flower is something I wanted to grow for a few years. I'm going to plant that in the large front garden. And that one I think I have to sow directly. I do have a lot of seedlings in the basement that I can continue to show you. I ended up ordering more seeds over the last 3 weeks, so I'll show you the seeds that I have in the basement in another video. And over here I have all my tomato seedlings. They're hardening off on our deck. I have 3 different types of tomatoes that really need to get planted in the ground, and I can finally do that now that we have danger of frost over. And there's some bachelor button that I'll be planting as well in the little side garden. And we had 4 apple trees. We lost one last year in a storm. So we have 3 apple trees on the property, and one of them started to blossom, and they only last about a week. They're a really short blossoming tree. So thank you so much for watching this video, and stay tuned for more May videos and garden tours, and I'll keep you updated on the seedlings, and I have a lot more to plant in May. Happy gardening!